Hey guys, thank you for tuning into my channel. So on today's video, we're going to talk about one exercise that I would consider that would help for spinal mobility. It's a very popular exercise, but it's also an exercise that I see a lot of people doing incorrectly. So it's called the Jefferson Curl. So the theory behind the Jefferson Curl and what makes it a mobility exercise in my mind is the fact that we're taking our spine through this end range of motion of flexion. Now, when our spine goes into flexion, we actually are rounding our spine forward like so. When we go into extension, this is when we arch ourselves back. So this exercise helps with increasing strength with our spine in a flexed state. So how do we stimulate our spine when it's in that flexed state? Well, simply by putting ourselves into this curled position and holding on to a weight, that is now putting that weight throughout our spine in this flexed position. And again, if we talk about what the definition of mobility is, that is the definition. Putting your body within a given range of motion, going to that end range of motion and adding a strength component to it. So now let's actually get into the exercise itself. Before I pick up the weight, I'm going to talk about a few cues that I want you to think about. Now, the first one that I want us to be aware of is making sure that our hips aren't drifting too far back when we go into this move. So a lot of times people will end up hinging at the hips and bringing the hips backwards as we curl down. So we want to try to prevent ourselves from doing that. When we go down into the Jefferson Curl, we actually want to make sure that our hips are staying somewhat over our heels. Now, I'm going to initiate the movement by tucking in my chin to my chest, and I'm going to continue to curl myself down, flexing my spine, compressing my spine towards my body. Notice how I'm keeping my hips forward, and I'm going all the way to this bottom range, however far I can get. From here, I'm going to reverse the move, and then I'm going to come back to this standing position. Now I'll show you an example when I hinge down if my hips go too far back. So this would be something different altogether. Now we're taking our body weight and we're shifting it around differently within the body, and it's not going to hit the spine quite the same. So again, making sure our hips stay over our heels when we're doing this movement. We're trying to curl and flex our spine as we go down, and then when we come up, we want to be lifting with the uppermost point and unraveling to this top position. So now that we talked about all that, let's add the weight and actually begin to do the Jefferson Curl. So you can see here, I'm starting in my standing position. I'm going to tuck my chin into my chest. I'm going to continue to flex and curl. I'm allowing the weight to help pull myself down, trying to keep my heels underneath my hips or my hips over my heels. I make it down to this bottom position, and then I'm going to lift at the lowest most point and then unravel all the way back up to standing. Once again, tucking in my chin, keeping myself as compressed as I can as I go through this range of motion, getting to my bottom range, and then reversing the curl back to the top. Now, when you do this exercise, you can do anywhere from 5 reps to 10 reps, whatever feels good for you. Now, I wouldn't always do this loaded with weight. If your back is in a spasm, if things aren't feeling right, you can just do this with your body weight. So it's always about reading your body and making sure you're doing what's appropriate for you that day. So you should watch the video that's on the screen now to learn more ways to incorporate exercise and movement into your life. As always, this is Mini Movement Man saying be kind to one another and move well. Peace.